July 10th, 2024, City Council Finance Committee meeting. I now call this meeting to order. Please be advised that FATV is conducting audio and video recording of this meeting for public broadcast. I ask that anyone in the audience who is recording this meeting to please identify themselves for the record now by standing and stating their name and city of residence. Seeing none, I ask that all electronic devices please be put into silent mode. Should have added that committee members that are present this evening, myself, Di Natale, Cruz, Boschman, Walsh, and I invite anyone in the audience who wishes to speak with public comment. I don't see anybody. There's no one on Zoom other than department heads for the relevant orders before us. So with that, we will move to the agenda and begin with 14524. Order that there being hereby is transferred from within fiscal 2024 accounts the sum of $1,000 to be charged to mayor, personal services, assistant department head, and credited to mayor expenses, office supplies, $400, and mayor expenses, travel and meetings, $600. This is to cover shortfalls in the FY24 budget in those two accounts. So this is an interdepartmental transfer.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the transfer. Any objections? If there are none, I will take this on unanimous consent. It is approved. And just an FYI to the public that orders like the one that we just took, many of them are like that this evening. This is the typical year-end, fiscal year-end closing activities that we're basically reconciling balances with accounts that are under versus accounts that are over. President Zarella, a member of the committee, has just joined us. We are going on to 14624. Order that there being hereby is transferred from within fiscal 2024 accounts the sum of $15,887.81 to be credited to election and registration expense, street listing from the following accounts: city clerk personal services clerical $4,591.04, election and registration personal services election workers $11,296.77. Joanna Bellotta Simeon, the city clerk's letter to the mayor states as follows. Basically, there were just shortfalls in these two accounts.
I think it was street listing.
Yep, from the street listing. So we had from the sum of $15,000 to be credited to. Okay, so we had a balance in the election registration expense street listing and an overage in the other two accounts. This is wrong.
Hi, thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to let you know I spoke with Joanna, and she said this is something that happens every year. They get a certain amount from the state to do the street listing. They usually can do it cheaper than that, and then they're allowed to transfer the excess into other election-related line items, which they usually need to do in order to keep up with the workload.
Make a motion, we accept.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to accept. If there are no objections, take this on unanimous consent. Seeing none, it passes. 14724, order that there be and hereby is transferred from within fiscal 2024 accounts the sum of $2,000 to be charged to facilities personal services department head and credited to facilities personal services overtime. This is again an interdepartmental transfer within facilities.
Motion to approve.
Question.
Yes, Council Boschman.
When you say facility, is that the right over here, the building over here, City Hall?
The facilities maintenance department is where these two accounts are housed. Personal services would have been the facilities director who resigned several months ago.
Oh, okay.
And so that's why there's actually a larger balance in 2000, but that's where there was a substantial amount of leftover money because that position was not filled.
All right. Good, you make the,
It's on the table still.
you already made the motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve 14724. If there are no objections, I'll take this under unanimous consent. Seeing none, it's approved. 14824, order that there be and hereby is transferred from within fiscal 2024 accounts the sum of $15,000 to be charged to fire personal services incentives and credited to fire building and maintenance, electricity. We have Chief Suarez here if he'd like to speak.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, this transfer is coming from our personnel bucket and into our building maintenance, and the reason for it is just the raising rates for Unitil, and we just went over in our electric line item. So this will help budget.
Council motion.
Is this for one building down here, or is this building one up on Oak Hill Road or some?
So that line item covers all three stations.
All three?
Yes.
They don't give it billed separately?
They get billed separately, but it all comes out of that same line item.
Okay. All right.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve 14824. If there are no objections, I will take this under unanimous consent. Seeing none, it's approved.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. 14924, transfer from within 2024 fiscal accounts the sum of $6,000 to be charged to building personal services, assistant inspectors, and credited to building personal services overtime. Acting Commissioner Zemmel informed me that he's away on a pre-planned vacation. I told him, don't worry about zooming in, so I believe his letter provided enough justification. I respectfully request the transfer of $6,000 from available sources for the purpose of offsetting a negative balance in the personal services overtime account. This overtime is as a result of staffing needs following the retirement of a long-term member of our clerical staff, emergency call-outs by the utility companies and public safety department after hours, as well as, in the case of the wiring inspector, keeping up with statutory inspection and administrative responsibilities.
Make a motion when you said it.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to accept. Any objections? Seeing none, it's approved. $15024, order there being hereby is transferred the sum of $120,000 to DPW capital equipment from the following accounts: DPW admin, engineering personal services, MS4, temporary labor, $9,000. DPW streets personal services, summer help, $31,000. DPW streets personal services labor, $80,000. I do have Commissioner Erickson remotely joining us on Zoom. Commissioner, is there anything you'd like to say?
Yes, if you don't mind. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Ask him if you can speak up.
Could you speak a little? I don't know if you're close to the mic or.
Yes, I'll get as close to the microphone as I can. Hopefully this is a little bit better.
All right, proceed.
So the request here is for a transfer from 3 labor accounts to our DPW capital equipment account. The goal is to use the $120,000 to either purchase a new 1-ton or a street sweeper or a box truck, depending on quotes and what those quotes come in at. The 3 labor accounts that we would be transferring from include admin, engineering, MS4, temp labor. This money was designated for summer help to help us with our stormwater MS4 program. We had no applicants last summer, and it was removed from the FY25 budget. So this is a transfer from that available funds. The next account is DPW Streets Summer Help. We had 1 late last summer, and we did not expend the full amount that was budgeted for summer help, so be transferring funds out of that account. And then the last labor account would be Streets Labor. Funds are available due to several vacancies that we've had over the course of the last fiscal year, and we're actually working on getting those filled in the next week or two. Jeff and I have hours and hours worth of interviews scheduled over the next couple of weeks. So that's the explanation as to why we are requesting this transfer, and happy to answer any questions.
I have a few. The summer help of $31,000, that conceivably would cover July, August, September of last calendar year, correct?
Correct. And
Part of this
the
spring?
beginning portion of this summer.
So I know we raised the hourly wage. Are we still not getting people interested in applying for these jobs?
So this year, we did not advertise for summer help because we removed them from the FY25 budget. We didn't want to bring someone on for just essentially a month and then have to lay them off. And we did that. We removed them from the FY25 budget just due to the circumstance and trying to cut back our expenses as much as possible.
But the underrun is also inclusive of those 3 months I referenced last summer, right?
Right.
Did we have full summer help last summer?
We only had one last summer. And I'm not sure really the reason that we didn't get any applicants last summer. The rate was raised. It's fairly competitive, although not huge. But we did advertise for them, and we just weren't able to fill all of the vacancies at the summer help positions.
Okay, and I understand. The streets personal services, now that's a year-round position. You said it was various positions that weren't filled throughout the year. How many exactly that equates to 80,000? I mean, is it two? I know it could be a mix. You know, one
it was
person
a
leaves
mix.
1 month, another person comes on, but 80,000, if you think about it, unless I forget the wage, 80,000 is close to 2 full-time employees, right?
Just about, maybe a little bit less than that. And it was a mix of several different positions throughout the year. The highest paying position being the general foreman position.
Yeah.
Because we had Craig Ledger, who retired in February.
That's right.
And we're working on filling that position right now.
I forgot about Craig. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's where a big chunk of that came from.
Okay. So it's much less to do with the general laborers. It's more the foreman's position, basically the second in command behind the superintendent.
Correct.
Okay. All right, I don't have it. Anybody else have questions? Council Boschman?
Can you repeat what kind of equipment you're looking at again? A sweeper, a what, box truck, and a what, 1-ton truck?
1 ton.
A 1-ton, a sweeper, and a box truck. That's correct. Those are kind of the three top priorities right now. We also need salt sand trucks, so either 6-wheel dump trucks or 10-wheel dump trucks. But those are more expensive than that 120,000 would allow. We also need, like I said, the 1-ton. We try to rotate and get a new sweeper every other year, and we're overdue for a sweeper. And our box truck is a, let's see, got the list in front of me here. Ford Cube van, it's a 2005, so it's coming up on almost 20 years old.
Is that the one you use for the paint?
Correct. That's for the line painting. It houses the line painting equipment. And then we use it for elections during the year to transport all of the election supplies over to the various polling locations.
Are you still thinking about trying to get another, what do you call it, overgrowth machine or something for the sidewalks too? You know, that
yeah, I very much want to get another piece of equipment to be able to do the roadside mowing. We've got they call it a trackless, and it's kind of a multi-purpose vehicle where you can mount the articulating boom mower, you can mount a snow blower, a snow plow, and a broom sweeper on it. And it's nice and narrow and fits on the sidewalks, but it would be great to get a larger tractor with a mid-mount articulating boom mower so that we could get a little bit more brush clearing done faster. The other thought is to get a mini excavator with an articulating boom mower, and that would give us a little bit more flexibility with what we can do with that piece of equipment. But we're kind of weighing our options there. So we're going to look for other opportunities and other funding sources for some of that additional equipment that we need.
Well, all right. I yield the floor. I get something else to say, but I'll wait. Because you're going to say, stick to the subject. So I'll wait.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve. If there are no objections, take the same as consent. Seeing none, it's approved. 15124, order that there be and hereby is transferred the sum of $50,000 to Parks Expense Playground Safety Wood Fiber from the following accounts: Parks Personal Services Labor, $20,000, Parks Personal Services Summer Help, $30,000. Commissioner Erickson is here to speak on behalf of Director Bunnell, who's occupied with the concerts on the Common. Commissioner?
Thank you, Councilor. So the ask here is to transfer from 2 labor accounts into our Parks expense account for playground safety fiber. The 2 labor accounts here, one is Parks Personal Service Labor. The extra funding that's left over there consists of a vacancy at the working foreman position. That position is vacant due to the former working foreman departing his employment with the city. And that job is actually posted internally right now, and we hope to fill that in the very near future. And then we also had a vacancy at the light motor equipment operator position for approximately 1 month. So that's where that $20,000 is coming from. And then on the second labor account, Parks Personal Services Summer Help, we did not hire summer help last year. We had some advertisements up, but we did not get any applications. Again, I'm not sure exactly the reasons for that, whether it was the rate that wasn't competitive or, maybe the advertisement for it just didn't cast as far of a reach as we would have hoped. This year, we have been successful in getting summer help employees, and Parks have 3 on board right now for the FY25 year. And it's making a big difference with being able to address the various needs in the parks, specifically mowing and weed whacking. That's always a struggle for us to keep up with the 4 park staff that we typically have on board. Right now, we're down to 3, hoping to fill that working foreman position ASAP so that we can staff back up to a full 4.
Do we, yes, Council, 1 second. With regards to the summer help, because I was a former summer help employee for several seasons with the cemetery department when I was in high school. Maybe this is a question for the Director of Human Resources, but in terms of advertising the position, is there ever, do we go into or try to hit like the high school, Monty Tech, advertise in those 2 schools for the 16, 17, 18-year-old? You have to be 18? Okay, so, but I mean, senior level, do we have we done that, or will we?
We have.
Okay.
To Goodrich as well.
Goodrich, okay, yep, I forgot about Goodrich, yep.
We have.
Okay.
Yep, and I just want to add to that, Director Bunnell does regularly communicate with folks at the school, specifically Jeremy Roach and a few others. And I believe he sent around some advertisement about the job postings this year. I'm not entirely sure where the 3 employees that we currently have on board came from, if they're Fitchburg High students or if they came from elsewhere. But I know he had reached out to Fitchburg Public Schools to help advertise those positions.
Yeah, even the university. I mean, just because I don't know exactly what places like Market Basket and Hannaford pay, those common places where younger people go and work during the summer months, especially college students. But I know that what we offer for this position, I believe, pays more than those places. So that's why I asked the question. I don't know if we go to the university either. Okay.
One of those employees is from Monty Tech.
Okay.
That's here.
Just making sure. Okay. I mean, if people don't want to do it, they don't want to do it. But I would just want to make sure we're advertising in those areas. Okay. Council Boschman, you had your hand up?
Yeah. Nick, the question for you, I was going to ask the same question Mark did on that first part. The second part, I want to, this fiber stuff, how long does it last?
It's amazing how quickly it disappears from these playgrounds. Like, I don't know where it goes, but I'd say if we refill everything to the top, and you're supposed to have a certain depth per ADA or playground safety regulations, There's actually a little mark on the playground equipment. It's like a little arrow or a little hash mark on the actual legs of the playground equipment that indicates how deep the fiber is supposed to be filled up to. And usually it's 12 inches or so, 12 to 18 inches. So it's a substantial amount. And really we need to be adding, several inches every year because that's how quickly it walks away from each of these playgrounds. We're usually not able to buy enough to keep up with how fast it disappears. I would say that we should probably budget for close to $50,000 every year just for the safety fiber. But obviously that's something we're not fully able to do every year just due to financial constraints.
And we can't use mulch, natural mulch on that stuff. It has to be a safety fiber.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the special wood safety fiber. It's different than standard like wood chips, and it's designed for child safety. It's got a certain amount of elasticity and whatnot.
All right. I just think it's a lot of money, $50,000 every year.
Well, I mean, he said that it was over multiple parks, and Lord knows we have way more than we can handle. So I'm assuming that this is going to cover many of them.
Correct.
I mean,
the goal is
if you
here to
go to some of these
refill
parks,
all of
they're
them.
overdue. And that's the biggest complaint that I get about the park maintenance, aside from mowing, is the mulch upkeep.
Right.
Again, if they're heavily used, kids, I mean, the commissioner said, where do they go? I have one theory based on my experience with little kids is they get kicked up a lot and they get thrown. And I don't know, maybe if the teams would expand out beyond the park playground, which will probably find chips everywhere, but they're certainly not stable enough on the ground to prevent a 5 or 6 year old from kicking it up and moving it, just based on general use. So
it
they're
does
certainly
wash away
due
with
an application in many areas.
heavy rain. It floats away sometimes too. And really, the only alternative to the safety fiber is it's like a poured-in-place rubber material, and it's extremely expensive to get that installed. In fact, that's one of the reasons why we weren't able to move forward with the Mama Fitz and Park Hill playground projects that went out to bid recently because of the high prices that we got back in our bid results for the poured-in-place rubber material. So,
Is that the material that you have at the Coolidge Park playground? That's
yes.
not mulch. I think that's a rubber material over there, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Right,
It's
it
like
is, yeah.
a spongy rubber material.
Right, yep. Okay. I think that's one of the few, if not the only one we have that has rubber material. The rest of them are mulch.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yep. Okay.
I make a motion we accept. Unless you got a question?
Motion made and seconded to approve the transfer. Are there any objections? Seeing none, it is passed.
Thank you, councilors.
Thank you, Commissioner, for joining us. 15224, order there being hereby is transferred from within fiscal 2024 accounts the sum of $7,500 to be charged to Health Personal Services nurses and credited to Health Personal Services overtime. Director Curry.
Good evening, councilors. Councilors, our nurse did resign back in February, which is the reason why there is an excess of funds in that account, and our overtime account is due to the coverage of landfill, mainly basically Saturdays. Higher paying staff are covering at the landfill, as well as there is construction. So the present scale master at the landfill is working a few more hours, a few days a week to allow for the weighing of trucks and construction at the landfill.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the transfer. If there are no objections, Take this under unanimous consent. Seeing none, passes. 15324, order that there be and hereby is transferred from fiscal 2024 accounts the sum of $10,000 from health sanitary landfill expenses, closed landfill, to health rubbish removal expenses contract fees.
Councilors, I'd like to respectfully request we raise that $10,000 to $15,000. The final bills are in, so we are a little bit short with that $10,000. The account, the closed landfill account, obviously, we discussed during budget season, was not utilized to full extent due to getting approval. We do have approval now, so FY25 will see, should see the full expenditure there. Rubbish removal was bulk item program, curbside bulk item program was very well used this year, much more than projected, as well as the ward cleanups were much more expensive due to the waistband items that we received at the cleanups. So we're about a little under $13,000 short in the rubbish removal account.
So the closed landfill account was at 54,000. So the amended number of 15 is more than adequate to cover
Motion
this.
to amend as requested?
Second.
I have a motion made and seconded to amend the order to reflect 15,000 instead of 10. If there are any objections on the amendment, seeing none, it is before you as amended for 15,000. Councilor Boschman.
I got a question from, my question to you, I'm going to vote for it, but a couple of years, well, last year and the year before, this council and the council previous to this, we always talked about the closing of the landfill up there, and we wanted you to start putting money away every year for closing. Are we still doing that? Because I just got done talking to Jackie today. I said, geez, if we take the money we have left over, why don't we just transfer it towards the closing of the new dump?
So part of the requirements to run a landfill is just that. Waste Management is required to put aside funds for the 30-year closure. So there is about $33 million in that account. They contribute to it.
Oh, they do?
Yes, we do not.
We don't
And
have
there shouldn't be a reason why we should have to contribute to it. However, we do own land up there, so that's something to keep an eye on for the future.
All right.
So you said that they contributed 33 million, so what's the 54 again?
The 50-foot, completely different landfill. This is for the Blueberry Lane landfill.
Okay,
Airport Road.
Airport Road, got it, okay.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve 15324 as amended. If there are no objections, it is approved. Thank you.
Thank you, councilors.
15424, order there being hereby is appropriated the sum of $600,000 to be charged against 2024 fiscal year employee benefits health insurance.
You missed one. 154.24.
Yeah, I said 15424.
I got mine, it's 155.24.
We're at 154, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
154, all right.
Okay,
$600,000.
Council, this is the council agenda orders.
Well, yeah,
This is the Finance Committee agenda. I wasn't at the meeting last, did we do one that was suspended?
I believe there was
Okay.
a suspended finance order.
There was one, yes. There was one item that was suspended on there that you voted on.
No, but not
last week.
this one, not for the HR and the city clerk.
That comes next.
No, that's next.
Okay.
So you look at the finance agenda, that's the council agenda. There was one item on there that was suspended and passed, which is why the finance agenda has one less than that does.
All right.
So 15424 is an order to appropriate $600,000 charged against fiscal year 2024 employee benefits health insurance and credited to fiscal year 2025 reserved for other municipal purposes. Now, I assume that the prior transfer we took on of 1.9 million, it was communicated to us that that was a conservative number, and so you might understand that we came in at around 1.3 of that 1.9, so the 600 is excess. Okay, so this is, so just to, if you recall, councilors, in a few months ago, we had a huge transfer of 1.9 million out of free cash to cover a projected deficit in the health insurance fund for fiscal year '24. That 1.9 million was stated to us at the time as a conservative projection, and I believe the auditor made it clear that they did put extra in that transfer just in case, and so we only really needed 1.3 of that 1.9, which is good. So the 600,000 left over is being asked to be moved to this fiscal year's budget reserved for other municipal purposes as a housing account for.
And I anticipate that that will be used toward net school spending. So the schools had a $1 million transportation deficit. So we had given them, at the same time we voted the 1.9, we voted $300,000 to their transportation.
Yep.
So the 6 is just to, we'll probably owe some portion of that 600 for net school spending.
And that was a
Help them
prior.
make up that deficit.
That was a prior meeting we had where Director Roach was before us telling us that the transportation costs,
Yeah.
because of the one-year contract, were in,
Right.
it's a guess, but when he was before us, so.
Correct.
And we were expecting it to be more likely than what we anticipated. So this will cover that overrun.
Yep, so when they settle and report it, their end-of-year report in the fall, there'll be a certain sum that the city's going to owe to meet net school spending, and it will come from, hopefully this account will be sufficient to cover that.
Okay.
Make a motion, we accept.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to accept the transfer. Any objections? Seeing none, it passes. Last item on the agenda, 15524. Oh, wait a minute. Did I take that? I'm sorry. So that's why there's a difference in. So this says 155. Should say 154, right? And this says 154. This should say 155.
So I was
believe.
right.
So that's all right. I joined late to the party. Let me just make that amendment there. So that's 154. This is 155. So 155-24, last item on the agenda. Order, there being hereby is appropriated the sum. Should this, what was listed here, replace what's on the agenda?
No, they're
Or
both
should-
on the agenda.
Right, but-
These are coming from, well, I don't have a copy of the city council agenda.
Can I stay for a minute, please?
Last two at the bottom.
These come.
154 and 155. I have mine as 154.
Okay, so this should say 155, and this should say 154. Okay, so,
For clarification, the FinCom
yeah, they were
agenda-
reversed. So what we just voted on, councilors, was really 155-24?
I'd make a motion that we reaffirm
Reaffirm,
that.
okay.
Vote.
Do I have a second?
I second it.
Any objections?
No.
Okay, so we're back with what was 154-24 on our finance agenda should really read 155-24. Is there any objection? Do I have a motion to approve 155-24, the health insurance 600,000 transfer?
So moved.
That was what we just did, I thought. But,
Right. Oh, you just wanted me to reaffirm? You didn't want to do another vote? Just
yeah, I mean, unless there was an objection, that was what my motion was intended as anyway. I'm
Okay.
fine with doing it however.
Yeah, let's just take another vote for the record. 155-24, the 600,000
I'll make that
transfer.
motion.
Okay.
Second.
Second. Are there any objections to that?
No.
Okay, 155-24 has been approved. 154-24, which is incorrectly listed on our finance agenda as 155. This is 154-24. Appropriate $57,242 to be charged against FY25 tax levy and credited to fiscal 2025 accounts as follows: Human Resources, Personal Services, Clerical, $30,860. City Clerk, Personal Services, Clerical, $26,382. Ms. Davis, Director Davis.
Good evening. Thank you, councilors.
Just so I'm understanding the movement, we're taking 57,000 The 57,000 on the tax levy, is that from the cuts we made?
Basically, yeah,
Okay.
it's coming from the,
So the council voted on 142,000 and change in cuts. 57,242 of that cut package is now being reappropriated by the mayor to these two accounts. 30,860 to human resources clerical, city clerk clerical 26,382. My first question on the city clerk clerical, is that to make that, I know we lost a full-time position through a retirement, and we weren't going to fill the part-time position, and the part-timer was going to be elevated to the full-time, so she would have had 4 full-time, no part-time.
Right.
Is this transfer going to restore that part-time?
Yes.
Okay, so that's the
spoke with the
first
mayor
thing. So,
about
so the clerk's office is going to be made whole from where they were in FY24, where they had 4.5 positions. The budget we voted on had 4 positions. She's getting her part-time clerk back. So that's what this is covering. The 30,860 for human resources clerical is?
It is for a part-time position because I lost a third person.
Correct.
So the need is still there. I'm hoping that since this, there are not benefits associated with this position, having part-time help would certainly help us. Because certainly anything that Brittany and I can't do puts a strain on every department. There's no two ways about it. I can't give our departments what they need when they need it without help, honestly. And at least this will help.
So I recall in the meeting, Council Boschman, this was your cut that the council voted to approve, I being one of them who voted yes. But I gave my reasons then about, in the times that we're in, understanding the need, I was never in favor of this position from the start when the prior mayor put it in the FY23 budget. So that's why I was trying to be consistent. So this is going to go, so Ms. Davis had through fiscal year 24, 3 full-time staff. The budget we passed reduced her staff to 2 full-time. This will now bring it back up to 2.5. So this is a part-time, non-benefited position. So for me, as someone who voted to reduce the full-time position, I am never against adding part-time because the benefits are not tied to it. In terms of a band-aided stopgap measure, to me, it's a good compromise if I don't agree with a full-time hire at this point, considering our fiscal condition. That's just where I stand. I can sleep at night that there's no benefits tied to this, because that's the crux of the value. And I didn't think we were at a point in our fiscal health where we could sustain that third position full-time, but I'm okay with having a part-time as a compromise. Councilor Cruz?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Obviously, I voted against the cut, for the record.
I know.
We just spoke about it a little earlier. We seem to have a consistent problem bringing new people on to departments, and not getting any applicants, to me, is a big red flag. So, and I don't think it has anything to do with the amount of personnel in any particular office. We've raised a lot of the pay, a lot of the rates to be competitive, but we're still not getting any applicants. What, in your opinion, is the reason for this?
Actually, that is because it's the summer help, and the rate is $18 an hour. Mm-hmm. That is primarily where we're not getting, right now, primarily where that's happening. As Nick Erickson, the commissioner, can attest to, also it's somebody like the civil engineer that we're having a difficult time replacing as well. But right now with these, it's because it's $18 an hour, I'm sure. We did get, we were able to get some people, as Nick mentioned, 3 people in the parks. It really is just sort of a hit or miss, and it's not. Even with the civil engineer, it is not from lack of advertising everywhere. The wastewater is difficult. It's because of the industry. That certainly industry-wide, nationwide, is an issue. People just aren't going into that trade. But I think with the summer help, that's predominantly right now an issue.
When we post these sort of advertisements, is it like do we time these out? I imagine that we want to post towards the end of college graduations, high school graduations. What are the thought process of getting our advertisements out officially and at appropriate times?
We start advertising them typically in April. The cemetery tends to go up a little earlier because we need to really make sure there are boots on the ground by, in time for Memorial Day. But the time frame is in April. We may decide to that maybe we need to push that back. Certainly for the next hiring season, budget considerations, aside, if we can.
So you post predominantly in April, 1 month out of the year?
For the summer help.
Just summer help.
Yes, but for everybody else, what
about other positions? What is the thought process of our strategy in posting and advertising?
So where we advertise based upon the position. So for instance, if it's a treasurer, then we're going to go to that MCTA, which is the Treasurers Association. So we'll go toward trade-specific websites, associations. When we post them, for the most part, I will post them as until filled, but with a first consideration date for applications. Usually that's 2 weeks, because sometimes we will, like right now, for library technicians, we had 103 applications. 103, which is bizarre, and the only place we posted that was on our website. That's it. We didn't need to post it anywhere else.
Does the Board of Trustees predominantly write those postings? The Library Board of Trustees, they put those together with Deb, Director Hinkle?
Typically, she may review those job descriptions with them. I'm sure she probably does. And then she and I tweak it, but I'm sure they initially came up with that, and all we do is end up revising it.
Can we get more to the position itself? And we're getting into HR posting practices.
That's fair. I completely understand. I respect that. That was pretty much the crux of it. I'll yield the floor. Thank you.
We can certainly, I can give you a call and we can discuss this more, because if you have some other ideas or whatever, that'd be fine.
Councilor Cruz's initial question about job posting timeliness tied to staffing levels, I understand.
Yep.
And I understand what you said about the temporary help. I just want to remind the council that the main crux of the unfilled position problem we were having specifically in public works across wastewater and water were because of those prior contracts that weren't up to market standards, and we were having difficulty getting interested people to apply because of the rates. And since we adopted the new current collective bargaining agreement with the union, I believe the commissioner said during the budget meetings that he's just about, if not fully, staffed in water and wastewater now. And he's had less trouble getting the frontline guys for public works. And he also said in the prior public works committee meeting that the civil engineer is a highly skilled and specific position that is very hard to fill regardless of the pay. Right. But I believe the new collective bargaining agreement with the union side has paid dividends in terms of being able to fulfill a lot of unfilled positions. So I guess what I'm saying is, from my reading of that, it had less to do with any staffing issues in your office and more to do with the base of pay we were offering under the old contracts.
Well, that is correct. I mean, and we were able to get those posted quickly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All set, Councilor? Okay. Councilor Boschman?
Two questions. Touch on that for a minute. Since we're having trouble in some places to get help, colleges, use the college, they graduate from school, you go to the colleges right there, like engineering schools, and you put the thing in.
We do. We participate in college job boards.
Yeah. My question to you is, my big argument again is money. I'd like to know what's the difference between a $30,000 job and a $26,000 job when one has to wait on people in the public constantly and still do paperwork and filing paperwork, and one sits behind a desk doing filing paperwork?
Because honestly, that's not what they're doing. They are. We field many calls from outside. We have people that come into our office a lot. Keeping in mind, though, our main customers are internal. They're internal. So it doesn't matter whether it's a constituent in front of you or an employee in front of you, or department head, whoever that might be. It's just that whether they're internal or external. We also want somebody that has some experience in HR, because there is a certain knowledge base for Family Medical Leave Act, which is FMLA, or workers' comp, or any other kinds of leaves. So it's not a paper pusher type of position at all. It's far more. I know that's something like HR isn't really nearly as visible as maybe the DPW or what we do in a day, but my office touches every department, and there's always a lot going on in our office.
I don't know. I'm going to, they found a way around my thing.
No, it's not. I'm not trying to take. You still have the floor, Council, but I don't agree that this is an end around. We base our decisions, in my opinion, and my experience, on full-time equivalents, especially those who are benefit positions. Where you came from on this, where I came from on this was, it was too soon to give a third full-time person to HR, irrespective of the need for it. Because before Ms. Davis, I think actually when you were hired, it was just you.
And Bernie.
Right? No, I'm not including the former.
It was
when you were
just
hired,
me.
it was just Ms. Davis.
It was just Ms.
And the city has had one HR person for as far back as I've been on the council, up to when she was hired.
Hey.
And then the prior administration added an additional person, and then an additional person. And I just thought the third person was too quick. It was never about whether the need was there, it was just too quick. And you felt the same way. I am not surprised that this is the avenue that's being taken. Instead, I actually was expecting it, because while we're concerned about financial constraints, the first and foremost concern with respect to financial constraints, in my opinion, is benefited positions, and that is gone. But this is, to me, meeting them halfway. It's a compromise. And then the council will have the final say, pending the mayor's recommendation, to add back a third benefited position. We will have a stake in that when that ever comes before us, whether it's through a free cash request, supplemental transfer, or the next budget. But now the council has authority, where it didn't before, to say yes to restoring that third position or not. That's how I see it.
I see it the same way. I understand what you're saying to me, and I agree. But my problem is the pay. I think $30,000, $31,000 is a lot of money for a part-time employee.
May I ask, piggybacking off of that? So I had the same question I was going to ask after. I know President Sorrell has his hand up. The $30,860, conceivably, we're ending July. We have 11 months to go. So if I do a full 12-month fiscal year, let's say the person started on July 1st, and they're part-time. $30,860 would indicate to me that a full-time position would be north of $60,000. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, close to it, because what the position that got cut was at $58,000.
58. I don't have the budget. I should know this off the top of my head, but what does the generalist make? What's that position budgeted for? I don't.
70.
Is it 70s? Okay,
73. Somewhere. Yeah.
So when I see the word clerical, and I'm not disparaging clerical, I'm just saying 61,000 for a brand new full-time clerk. Is that the contractual rate?
That shouldn't say clerical.
Okay, I was going to ask.
It's not clerical.
So you're the director. You have I don't want to use a name, but
No, it's all right. So there's an HR generalist.
generalist who you have.
Who functions sort of like an assistant director, kind of.
And then the third position we cut was the human resources assistant.
Correct.
So they're not just a clerical staffer in the clerical union.
No.
They have HR-specific experience.
Correct, and they wouldn't be in any union.
Okay, oh, that's right. They're not
Non-union.
I'm sorry.
They're
So-
non-union.
Right.
But that's
so-
not clerical. Unfortunately, I didn't, it's
So
not
that's what
clerical.
confused me, and I'm sure confused my colleague to my left, is that the pay number didn't jive with a first-year clerical staffer.
And that makes
And
sense. Why,
The second question I had was, I didn't recall you having a clerical staff. I thought it was what you just said. It was human resources assistant.
Correct.
Who has a human resource acumen or background.
Exactly.
Okay.
Which is what we had.
That would make more sense now that your generalist makes 71 and change.
Yep.
And the assistant HR would be around 60.
Correct.
I would, because clerical, I would think would be more like 50, so that's what I had a
Yes.
question on.
Yep.
Does that answer your question? So it's not, it says clerical, but it's not really a clerical position. It's a human resource assistant who has human resource credentials. It's not just a principal clerk
Well,
who has general experience.
I understand you. I understand what you're trying to tell me, and I understand what she's saying, but I don't know. Maybe I'm old school. Maybe I always thought you start here and you work your way up. You don't come in at $31,000. You might not know anything, but you get $31,000 for being part-time. I think you would start lower and work your way up. I'm not talking about $20,000.
Well,
Comparable.
30,000 council with no benefits.
Right.
Not much.
I know,
still have to
but
pay
that's
for their
still a
own-
lot. that's 19 hours a week.
It is.
Counselor,
What's it break down
when
to?
I-
What's the math on that?
When you leave a job for another job, let's say, and there is the intermediate, you have to deal with COBRA, okay? When you see what the cost of health care is, when the company's not subsidizing most of it, it's astronomical. The letter I got from my previous employer recently said that if I don't take the COBRA health insurance in lieu of not having a job yet, it's like $3,000 a month.
Yeah.
I mean, so any part-time position in the city or in the private sector at 30 grand, I mean, they still have to pay probably $2 to $3 grand a month in health insurance, assuming their spouse or, I'm getting into the weeds here, but I'm just saying, in many people's cases, 30 grand is nothing if they have to cover their own health insurance.
Plus, too, honestly, I don't want someone that doesn't have experience. I don't have time to sit and train somebody to the degree that what we need them for. I need somebody that's got, again, some, FMLA, workers' comp, general HR stuff, onboarding employees, posting jobs, somebody that's got some computer acumen. They've got, not somebody that doesn't need any training. So it's not, with all due respect, I wish that it were that way, that you could start somebody, but you're not going to find, one, like I said, you don't have time to train, and two, you're not going to find somebody for that now. You're just not low rates. It doesn't, not people that you want. You want people that you're going to bring in and you're going to be able to retain them. If not, they're just going to look for another job.
Go ahead. I yield the floor for now.
So when do you expect, if this passes, you would probably have someone, I know you can't predict that, but I mean, by October?
Oh, I would post it
September?
instantly. Like
Okay.
the night the council votes it, I don't know what.
So if this 30,860 would cover, let's say, 10 months of the fiscal year, is this 30,860 also inclusive of any overtime? Or do they not get overtime?
They can't get overtime.
They will not get overtime.
No.
Didn't we fix that with the prior person in your office who's no longer there?
We did. That was a way to just rate, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So this
there's
doesn't include
$1,000
overtime.
of overtime in my budget,
Yeah.
but that's for Brittany.
Okay.
Because this person can't get overtime.
Got it. Okay, so this person can't get overtime. They're not getting pension or health benefits. It's just a straight hourly rate.
Yep.
20 hours a week?
19.
19 hours a week.
Yeah, they'd have to stay under that, and they will. Because if not, then it gets to, Mass General Law says if you regularly work more than 20 hours, you're eligible for benefits. So they will not work regular hours of 20 hours.
Okay. Mr. President Zarella.
Thank you. First, just a quick comment, piggybacking off of the discussion that was just had. Not every position that is a starting position that happens to be at the lowest level of a given office is an entry-level position, in the sense of, come straight out of college and jump in. If it were, then I would be in complete agreement with my colleague that this is way too high to start someone at. But I take your point, because it's the same in my field. If I were to, granted, my office is me, but if I were part of a slightly larger law firm and we were hiring someone at the lowest rung of that office, that wouldn't be someone straight out of college who could be hired for, $20,000 part-time or something. That would be someone who would need considerable job skills under their belt and would probably be being hired from some other job somewhere where they've already accrued a good deal of experience. The second thing is a question, and I don't want to get too deeply into it because it's admittedly only fairly thinly related to the order, but I think enough. Do you think, because I know this came up during the budget process as well, and it just came up again tonight, do you think that we're inadvertently obscuring a lot of job differences by putting the clerical label on too many positions across the city, where a clerical staff in one department has a completely different set of job skills and job requirements than clerical staff in another department, where one might be, not to disparage, but a paper pusher.
Right.
And another might be someone who is coming in with a fair amount of niche skills or prior experience or something like that?
So there are definitely commonalities with every principal clerk. We have a clerk level, which might do some paperwork, but is more to deal with customers, answer the phone, sort of reception type kind of things. But once you get past that, okay, they all do some type of, they're customer facing. I think all of them. There aren't any principal clerks that aren't customer facing. They all are. Mm-hmm. Then it gets a little bit specialized. So maybe the Board of Health and the building department, because they do building permits and those kinds of things, and dump landfill stickers and permits. So each one is a little bit different, but they are definitely more common than not. More responsibilities that are more common than not.
Fair enough. Yeah,
I'm trying to make that a little bit more uniform. But it's kind of hard to do that. Mainly, you take somebody like one of the employees in the city clerk's office. She came in as a paralegal. Well, that gives that's some good experience, right?
Yeah.
But you're really probably not going to find somebody that's got principal clerk experience in the city clerk's office unless they leave another municipality. But there are skills that, like I said, as a paralegal, you come in and there are skills that are definitely, translate easily to that position.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I just figured I'd ask because I know, like I said, it's something that has caused a lot of confusion and controversy among the council and the public throughout the budget process. I yield the floor.
Is the designation of clerical in this order because of Munis?
Yes.
That's what I thought. So we have accounts in Munis that drive me insane. This isn't a criticism. This is just my accountant hat that drives me crazy.
Yeah.
Is when we get the budget every year, you look at the budget document with the headings for the personal services.
Yeah.
They don't correlate to Munis.
Yep.
So you could have principal clerk, stenographer, principal clerk, senior clerk, but then in the Munis budget, it just says clerical, and it lumps them all in. And so I think that's why this order was submitted the way it was, is to be, because this is going to go into the clerical line item of your budget, even though it's not really a clerical position, because I guess there's no account set up for
I think
HR
historically,
assistant.
these accounts have been set up with his department head, assistant department head, and clerical. So
Yeah.
we basic, and that is evolving because things are changing, but evidently we haven't caught up with this department.
Well, actually, we are. I was going to say we are. These are civil service titles, not the cities.
Some of these titles have gone back 20 years. Yeah,
Principal, clerk, and stenographer. When I tell you we really didn't get a lot of applicants, and they probably don't know what a stenographer is, honestly. You know, how many people do shorthand, right? None. I can't imagine anybody. We are negotiating with them, and we are in the process of trying to change all these titles because it's very antiquated. It's like calling them secretaries, and we don't do secretaries.
That wasn't a criticism either. Like, is this something that your office has direct control over? Is this more of a munis governed?
Well, we can change the descriptions in Munis. I think what
Okay.
you're looking at there, you'd be able to find that in Munis if you
yeah.
cross-reference.
Okay.
It probably should
So
be
it's
like
less of an
administrative
HR
or something.
term And more of an accounting.
Okay. I know you got enough to do. I'm just charge of accounts is one of my bugaboos where I work. That's all. That's it.
Well, you know what? At the same time, can you change personal services to personnel?
That'd be nice.
I don't know where personal came from. I'm like, what is that? Yeah.
Anyway, discussion for another time.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, Mr. President.
Just to answer that question, I think I know where it came from. It's a legal category. Personal services is when you contract for someone to actually do something themselves, as opposed to, like, you know, a general contractor who's going to farm it out to someone else. And
Okay. Well, thank you.
Make a motion to approve.
second,
Motion. Oh, yes.
Did the number of the order change? From what's
No.
on the agenda?
Oh, yeah, right?
So this should be 154.
Well, this
No,
was
this
one.
was
This was
155.
154, and now it's 155.
the one we're currently voting
Yes,
is
the one we're
154.
voting on is 154.
Right,
Yes, so
so
this
we
is
should-
154. So amend it formally, or?
No, I think it was submitted as 154
Right, I think
to
I
the
got-
council.
Right.
it was only the finance agenda that
And I
swapped them.
missed that.
Swapped them.
Okay.
So-
So this is 154-24, not 155.
The city clerk labeled it 150.
55. She labeled it 150.
4, and then
Four.
we changed it to 55, and then back to
Right.
54 when we cleared it all up.
So it came into the council's agenda as 154, and then it got on the finance agenda as 155. It should be 154.
Just what I said earlier.
Correct.
So
So this is 154, and what we just did is 155, not based on what this says.
Right.
Okay.
All right.
But you manually changed what the city clerk gave you, right?
And then changed it back.
Okay.
So it still ultimately says the same thing that was printed on the initial order.
Okay, so this is 154-24.
Yep.
And this should be 155-24.
Right, I got this.
Right, okay, yeah, so this is 154-24.
Yep.
Okay, so, all right, so I have a motion made and seconded
On the
to
motion.
approve 154-24. Before I let you speak on the motion, Counselor, my only suggestion, but I mean, this was the mayor's order, was it would have been probably beneficial for some counselors if this were two orders, because it's two different positions.
I agree.
There may have been two different schools of thought on the positions. Certainly, for those who voted against restoring the position, because during the budget meetings, I was highly critical of getting rid of the halftime clerk in the city clerk's office, but I voted to get rid of the full-time. And I understand my colleague, maybe there may be some others in the full council who might be going, well, I don't want one, but I want the other. So just, again, this isn't any, I mean, the mayor submitted it this way.
It's just, it was submitted basically as a supplemental budget.
Right, okay, so, but we're free, though, to amend it.
We
if
could
want.
amend it to cut either of these transfers.
Right, exactly, yeah. I mean, first, we have a motion made and seconded to adopt 154-24 in total.
On the motion.
On the motion, Counsel Boishman.
Sue, I'm going to send you home smiling tonight because I'm going to vote for it. As much as I don't like to pay. I'll send you home
I
smile.
appreciate that. And again, extending an invitation anytime you want, truly, come in to my office, because I think it would be good for maybe you to understand or know what goes on. I think to some degree. Anytime.
I'll do, you don't want me to do that. I talk too much. Ask Jackie.
Have him answer the phones for a day.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go. Yes, we'll show you our customers.
So, I don't know, I already said how I said, I spoke to the motion.
All right, so I have a motion made and seconded to approve 15424 in total. Is there any objections to the motion?
No.
No.
Seeing none, I'll take the Sunday municipal consent.
Thank you very much.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn. No objections? We are adjourned. Thank you.